From the heart of Moonshine Country comes a podcast so irreverent it'll make your grouchy grandma blush. The Overland Bonfire from Blue Ridge Overland Gear. Podcast about vehicle camping, overland gear, and long tangents about food. I'm hungry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blue Ridge Bonfire.
We're still wearing the same shirts
Brock
you're wearing.
gang. We've got Matt, we've got Rick here in the studio, and myself.
I didn't have to introduce
CT.
myself. This is great.
I know, we're just expediting the process now. So welcome back everybody. Today we want to talk about places that you can go overlanding on the East Coast, which is actually a pretty big area. So should be a lot to talk about here, but maybe we'll need to break it up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, wait. I have a couple questions, and then I'm going first.
Okay,
Point of order, right?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Question
So,
away.
what's the? Is there a length of time that we're talking about, or are we just talking about sort of favorite places to go East Coast?
How about this? Instead of length of time, maybe we can tag this place would be great for a trip of this length.
Oh,
A few
okay.
of those things come to mind for me.
Yeah, I think just mention that each one that you say, oh, that's a pretty big one.
There's
that's a
only
couple.
one. You need to go to Vermont. All right, we're done. We can all go home.
No.
Okay.
And,
It's over.
and
That's
I'm with you
actually
there.
true.
And honestly, for time, because that is a constraint for a lot of places on the East Coast, like staying in the woods or staying in the wilderness. But man, I'm pretty sure there's some places in Vermont that.
They give URI a run for its.
Oh, I mean, the network is just
Huge.
ridiculous up there.
Yeah, it's not even.
And
it's
yeah,
not
you
even
may
the
pop
same.
out on pavement, but you're going to drive 200 yards down the road.
and
then pop in
be
another
back,
trail.
and back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the woods. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Vermont is hard to beat for time in the woods. Just
which
purely staying in the woods for
moment of
3-4 days at a
silence,
time.
thoughts and prayers for our Vermont friends. They got hammered last weekend with some storms. So
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the death of the
no,
the bird watching.
no. They had really terrible weather last weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's why my flight was late.
Oh,
The whole Northeast
I
was
saw,
just
was it?
I watched nothing.
Mm.
I see nothing.
the
It's
capital
mind-boggling
of
how little I
One
know.
of those states completely flooded out with water.
yeah.
Yeah, that looked really rough.
Yeah, it was Sunday, I guess. Sunday's when the storms actually rolled through.
All right, so wait till Tuesday to go, but go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Vermont. That's all I'm really saying.
Yeah.
It's so pretty when when the leaves are out too. I mean, all year round.
Yeah, Vermont's just good anytime except probably the winter.
Yeah.
Never been in the
It'll
winter.
be brutal.
Yeah, because then those are snowmobile trails.
Right.
They're not overlanding trails anymore.
All right, we can go home, right?
Yeah, that's all right. So
Hang our hats up here.
And the segue off of that, I think when Matt, you would say probably southern New Hampshire too, right? Because I mean, at least when I've been up there, it seemed like the two were almost interchangeable. Not nearly the access though. In southern New
I
Hampshire,
mean, I can get behind the live free or die thing, so
Yeah.
I can go. I can get into New Hampshire's all right.
Yeah.
You just gotta, you gotta tread through Massachusetts very quickly.
Yeah,
very
hold your
lightly.
breath and connect.
Hop, skip, and a jump. Yeah.
All right, so there.
Connecticut. you
I
gotta
think we do
watch that
2
one.
rounds, especially through this.
And
quick.
maybe we just kind of slowly work down from there. Okay, so now that hits Pennsylvania area, is
I
Pennsylvania?
was
maybe you do.
totally going up. I would have gone up. I
Oh,
would have
okay.
gone. I mean,
Go up.
if I was gonna go
Maine
coast,
is good, too.
If I was gonna go coastal, I go to Maine.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like. I mean, the coast of Maine is really neat.
Not super densely populated.
No, and
really
it's not.
pretty.
I mean, the small towns are really nice.
Yeah.
It's not like going south. It's not like heading towards the Outer Banks. Now, although I've not done enough probably actual beach camping.
Yeah.
Like Josh would know. Josh would have Gobi Recon has that shit figured out.
And honestly, I trust him enough to say that for camping with not a lot of people and where you need to be fully self-sufficient, the Outer Banks is probably one of the best places for coastal camping. I mean,
he's got that figured out.
Yeah.
I just like I said, for me, Maine is the direction.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sit out in 90-degree heat.
Yeah,
that's not my.
For me to do what Josh does, I would need a really big cooler of bait and a bunch of surf rods. I could burn some daylight doing that, but yeah.
I don't know if I can even. I don't
saltwater
think I have
kayak.
that in me.
Yeah. Well, CT, instead of coming down, I think we go.
Well, I
next,
just want to
where's your
say
spot?
something about Vermont and maybe Maine a little bit too. Is bring a little, just be prepared to buy some nice cheese and charcuterie while you're up there. It's the thing to do. Even the little podunk hole in the wall little gas station is going to have this whole ornate cheese section. You got to buy some. It's amazing.
Well, it's because there's no grocery stores.
Oh,
Yeah, there's not nearly the
None.
density.
There's
of
none.
Yeah.
There's one
it's all
wall.
little grocery
It's
stores.
one Walmart in the whole state of Vermont.
Yeah.
They literally have legislated that out.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, that's why every gas station has got stuff. That's why you're constantly buying sort of farmer's market or
Yeah.
some kind of produce place or something like that, is because they just don't have any of that going on up there, which is what makes it, what makes it nice, at least for me to visit. It's
Expensive
Probably-
place to live.
well, it's not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure that's true. That is true, but it's hard to get a lot of stuff done there. You know what I mean? It's like
Because of red tape and things.
well, no, they just don't exist, right? The industry isn't there. You go through.
I mean, like Bedford, where we're at, not a huge town, but like you can walk from Walmart to Lowe's to Tractor Supply to AutoZone in like a couple minutes. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
all that stuff. Where there, you would be all over the place.
You would be all over the place, and then the other thing is that, and I mean, like, heavier industry doesn't exist up there. Like, if you're going to manufacture, rooftop tents, there's not an extrusion plant that I know of in that region. Like, you're going to truck shit in from a long way
So
away.
that's why it's good to overland. Maybe not necessarily live.
Yeah. No, that's my. I mean, relative to industry, like that was always my, coming from Northeast Ohio, where
Yeah.
heavy industry is everywhere. I mean, that's the whole state is at least the Northeast section of that state is all based in heavy industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's an Alcoa plant, there's a steel plant, and there's,
Yeah.
You can buy steel by the coil and have it turned into whatever you wanted, or you can buy you can have your own extrusion dies in the Alcoa plant, and you can have all kinds of proprietary stuff, and it's all right there. Like you could drive to go get it within a couple hours, which for a business and doing stuff is an easy place to be.
Yeah.
Living wise, that is almost impossible for me to beat East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, Northwest North Carolina. Like this corner is just really hard because there's enough industry that you can get stuff done, but you're still in the woods, and the rivers are good, and the fishing's solid, and the hunting's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just check so many boxes.
We have seasons, but none of them like absolutely drag you out back and take your wallet. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Fleece it for yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are hollers deep enough that you'll never see the sun, but
Yeah.
short of that.
Yeah. So hey, places to live. Our favorite places to overlanding and favorite places to live.
So we're moving down. So Vermont. So next is like New York State,
but
and then some
just for the
Pennsylvania,
record, South Central, Southwest Virginia is full.
Yeah.
so
I don't know if you guys
there's no
know.
more
but-
room.
Yeah.
There's no
You
more
have to
good,
get a ticket
no more
now?
good places here.
Yeah.
All the good jobs are gone. You don't want to come here.
Yeah.
No.
It's
It's like I was listening to a podcast and they were talking to a guy that lived in Idaho, and he was like, "Oh no, it's terrible. Like, nope, it's awful. The winters are long. The predators hunting the children. Like, like yeah."
yeah. No. Yeah.
So CT, no, it's still like moving down.
I hear
because, like-
I hear Alabama's good this time of year.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all I'm
I
saying.
figure we're doing like east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
probably.
How about just your place? Yeah. Because what if I don't want to do Maryland? Because I think that's what it's going to come to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But what do I think is cool on the East Coast?
Yeah.
I've been all through a lot of West Virginia. Obviously, Vermont was fantastic, and Maine was fantastic when I was up there with.
That's why I started with them.
folks.
Yeah. I think all of us would have went with Vermont.
Yeah. But West Virginia is pretty good.
Plus, the people in Vermont are weird, which makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like it's just a weird place. You just get weird
I
people.
think we're gonna have to rename this one as like everything to know about Vermont.
I'm not that guy. I just
Yeah.
I just know there are cool places to drive around and a lot of
Yeah.
weird people and cool little stores.
Now,
Yeah.
he said something earlier that applies to yours. Man, talk about some like places where the sun doesn't shine. We have been in some spots in
West by God, Virginia.
Yeah, that were.
Smile when you say it, baby.
Yeah,
No, that's true.
but it is.
Yeah, there are some weird back roads and so much stuff, and like abandoned railroad accesses, and just the weirdest
natural
woods.
gas roads that go on forever.
Yeah,
I mean, like, yeah.
it's a wild place. There's so much outdoors to see. And then there's some cool
You want to know
rock
where you're-
climbing places and rivers. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah, no. There's West Virginia is a spectacular state
Yeah.
for being outside. You do, if you get deep into the woods, you want to really make sure you know where you're going.
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
you on the one where
Bring good GPS.
no, where the dude like just walked up. No, I was not on that one. I've
Yeah, that
heard,
was
heard
the-
the stories.
Yeah. I thought apparently everybody behind me thought I was going to get shot. I felt pretty good about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize that we were My situational awareness must not have been on point. Well, that's not true. I did figure out what was going on pretty quickly, but
Yeah.
I think they were way more panicked than I was. He was in way too nice a truck to shoot first and ask
Right on the
later.
border, there's
Yeah.
the Kratos Resort was pretty neat. There's the and then Potts Mountain Jeep Trail, which I think is just into Virginia.
Which
It's pretty
Kratos,
rough.
or is it Kratos or Kairos?
Kairos. Sorry, it's
Kairos.
Kairos.
Yeah. Man, you're not kidding. The trip that you and I were on there, where we got access to go in there and camp at night.
Yeah.
Like outside the gates, it was like afternoon. And when we started heading into camp, the sun just disappeared.
Yeah.
It's like couldn't turn your headlights on fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally went into camp and it was like
Yeah. Some of them haulers are pretty deep, man.
Yeah,
The sun never shines.
So that's what I would add to it. So what
Yeah.
about you? What would you add to for East
Not
Coast?
to mention the clear liquor is always good in this part of the country.
that's
So,
true.
if you
And
clear liquor
usually
well,
pretty easy to acquire.
Kind of have a corner
Yeah.
on that market.
the FedEx driver that used to deliver.
That's next.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, they've gone pro down here, man.
Yeah,
I just-
So I will say that while obviously here in Virginia now we got some really great forest roads, stuff like that, and you can really tack a lot of those together for a long route.
yeah.
Was in
absolutely.
Tennessee for a long time. Tennessee has some pretty decent stuff, but I think the problem is a lot of it's kind of like in pockets. Like it's hard to in Tennessee to chain it together.
String a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff together. Yeah,
But-
you could string a chunk of stuff together without hitting a lot here.
But the Kentucky Adventure Trail, that is one I've never done the whole thing. I've done sections of it, but it's maybe a week, 10 days. And it essentially takes the interior circle of Kentucky. Originally was designed for dual sports and stuff, but Jeff, the guy that designed the route, has a 4x4 version. And it used to run they actually changed that part, but a section of it used to run 10 minutes from our house. Literally just across the line, that town.
Yeah.
It ran through Main Street, and it both ends of town. It got back into the woods. Really cool stuff. Pretty tame unless you do the hard sections.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there's some of those hard sections that would eat a side by side alive. So there were plenty that I was above my pay grade. But yeah, it's really cool. Goes
Water
up.
is deep up there, man.
Oh yeah,
It's-
yeah. Deep, muddy, and muddy sand bottoms.
Mhm.
But Red River Gorge, then down in southeastern Kentucky, coming kind of looping around by Harlan County, it goes all the way out into central Kentucky and then heads back up north. It's a really cool route. So you can't I don't think you can be wrong on any of the eastern half of that. So
Yeah, no, there's a lot more, I think, than people think.
oh yeah,
It
and that's
just,
how I like it.
yeah, you just have to you have to run a little pavement to get there, and
Yeah.
and plus I like the woods, so I mean
Yeah.
I like being in the woods.
Yeah.
I like big trees, and I like the eastern woods a lot.
Going down a little further, you've got Uwharrie Park in North Carolina. Now that's a national forest, right?
Yeah, Uwharrie National Forest, and then there's
Yep.
Is there an off-road
The
park?
there's a training center that's next door,
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
across the street from Arrowhead Campground, and
And that's where they host some events and things.
Yeah.
they've done some events down there. Southern Expeditions used
Yeah.
to do some
Nice.
events down there, but he's gone Ultra 4 racing, so
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's maybe an unpopular opinion. Uwharrie is a little bit different, but there was a few in Tennessee that were not WNAs, but the wildlife organization there in the state owned the land, and you could get permits to off road there and stuff. At least for me, that was never my vibe because a lot of them just became side by side parade grounds. I mean, just groups
okay.
of 40 side by sides,
Right.
going all over.
you'll get that in West Virginia some too,
Yeah.
where you'll get
Yeah,
you get
will.
big side by side rides coming through.
Yeah.
Which, as long as they can get ahead of me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or I can stay ahead of them, one or the other.
yeah. A route that I haven't done, but Casey from Georgia Bushcraft and I are talking about doing this in early December, is the Trans North Georgia. That seems like a really cool section. It literally is think the level of Clayton, Blue Ridge, Helen, and then kind of going west. It's in that northern fifth maybe of Georgia.
Yeah,
And
that's
goes-
the only part of Georgia that
Exactly. Yeah.
that you
Yeah,
can survive.
You actually kind of hit my next question, was okay, is there anything good below North Carolina? And you're probably hit the only one.
No, North Georgia's nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I really
Okay.
like North Georgia. Matter of fact, we've spent a bunch of time there with Derek, and
Yeah.
we spent a few 3 or 4 days there between events one time with
Yeah,
Derek and
it's,
Rich, and that was a good, camping was solid, and
Mhm.
stream, a lot of heavy trout streams and a lot of
Yeah.
good places to fish, and
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the river that literally is the border between Georgia and South Carolina. That's up in that corner, but
Yeah.
that area, like fishing wise, is like
Yeah,
fantastic.
hammering. Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna do that. I've heard that the western quarter, like the last little bit as you're getting over near Alabama, is not necessarily exciting. But we're gonna do a little bit of a content trip.
What's it?
So,
Is it Pisgah National Forest over there? What's the-
Pisgah it's all in North Carolina, right? I don't know what actually comes.
Oh,
down.
that's right. It's
Yeah, yeah.
just above the border then.
Yeah. So I don't
You're
actually know the
going
name of the
just
one that's right there in
right
North
there at
Georgia.
yeah.
Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in the southern.
But yeah,
the-
essentially Clayton, Helen, Blue Ridge, like all that area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just slightly warmer North Carolina to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right.
It is so brutal on the humidity in Georgia.
Or East Tennessee. Well, I mean, not that part. That part's no worse.
Yeah,
than we
you
got
you
here.
got some elevation in some of those
okay.
towns.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not horrible. You're still
I
in
went
the
to
hill.
at the Air Force Academy. What's the? I don't know. I forget the name of the Air Force base. that I
Definitely
spent a
the wrong
couple weeks
state
at
if you went to the Air
in
Force
Georgia-
Academy.
Right. No, I know.
That'd be Colorado.
It is Colorado. But yeah, that was probably pretty close to sea level, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Now I will say that like we need to get Rodney on the phone, and I have heard tell that there's like some places in Florida, or Zach Dill, like he was down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
We
a
have
lot.
to get a Florida person. I feel like I don't know if I could come up with anything good.
Yeah,
to say about
I mean I've seen
Florida.
evidence of it. I just don't know how much is there and how good it is.
I have no idea. I have zero.
yeah.
Anybody's got suggestions for Florida? I'd be curious. I was
Yeah.
just in Florida.
There was actually a guy.
Glad I'm home.
I will never forget talking to a dude at one of the very first Overland Expo East. Because it was at Taylor Ranch. He was in an old Defender. He was sleeping in a hammock that was on one end was a tree and the other end was on his roll cage from Florida. And he was telling me about a route that's the Something Brick Road. And it's like a partially submerged road made out of brick that you can still find like parts of it and drive on it down in Florida.
Wow,
Like that's pretty epic. Yeah.
that's cool.
That'd be interesting. Dave walked it from.
The whole state, not the brick road. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
That
he
we've
flew-
referenced a lot.
Yeah, occasionally.
Wild man Dave.
Dave walked it from.
The Keys, right?
He flew one time. He flew in the Keys and I think walked to Orlando, and then he did the Florida Trail, which doesn't start in the Keys.
Yeah.
But basically the whole state ends in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Because I picked him up in Pensacola.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
I get this random text message. Hey, can you be in Pensacola on Tuesday to get me? Yeah. All right. Yeah, man. What are we?
Yeah. Make it
What are we
happen.
doing? Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. So we ended up going and bumming around Pensacola for a day or two until he got there.
Yeah.
He may even show up a day early. Like I don't know.
Now we've talked about like our favorite places. One that I've seen a few trips done that that's still rather east is I'd really like to get in the UP.
Oh, I used to spend a bunch of time in the U.
Yeah, I've never been on that side of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to go through Lower Michigan, I guess, to get there. But
There's just it seems
Just
like a
drive
lot of
around.
woods, and
I mean, I guess I don't consider for some reason I don't consider that the east, but
yeah, that's what I was saying. I
in
mean,
my
it's
brain
still
that's
kind
sort
of
of
east.
That's sort of
Yeah.
North Midwest, but
Yeah.
the UP is awesome. I mean, like that's another one that's like neat little towns
Yeah.
and the places to stay are really cool. And I mean, it's a
Yeah.
little flat relative to what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of woods, lots
Really
of neat
dense,
stuff to
right?
see. Yeah, thick woods
Yeah.
and like, if you like to fish or ice fish, like it's crazy up there. And then you end up like North Wisconsin is awesome.
Yeah.
Towards the boundary water areas. All the
Yeah.
paddling up there is spectacular. Like if you like to canoe and do some of that stuff, like
Mhm.
that's unbelievable. Like they
Yeah.
just have a crap load of it. No, it's not moving water canoeing, but
Yeah.
or at least none of that I've done up there. But that is a pretty neat place that I think a lot of people underestimate.
Yeah.
That just don't think about heading that direction.
No, my college roommate, and actually funny enough, ended up like his cousin ended up being one of my students. They used to do like a family trip out there, like a 10-day
Yeah.
fishing trip, like
Yeah.
all the guys in the family.
A friend of mine just came back.
And it
They,
was insane the quantity
Yep.
and success rate they had.
Yeah. They stay in a cabin. His family goes up every year, stays in a cabin for a week, and
Yeah.
just hangs out in the Upe. And I mean, like, da super, eh? I've been snowed in there, like snowed in a Walmart parking lot there at least once.
Yeah.
For like multiple days.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool place. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of those, in the winter, it's one of those places you want to be really, really have your, I don't want to say have your shit together because it's not like there aren't humans and there's not like, you get
Yeah,
into that
east,
you get
yeah.
into that part of the country, and the humans are pretty helpful.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, well, there's there's a lot of places you go where it's not,
Los Angeles.
well, I mean, there's a lot of places in the country where you don't get
Yeah.
that somebody wouldn't stop. Like, like here, if you're stuck on a back road, like there's a
have
chance.
a whole crowd forming.
Well,
very
I mean,
quick.
there's a chance that somebody driving by is going to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's you're going to have, like people have gotten stuck. There was a motorcycle died a couple like last year or something right out in front of my driveway. Driving home, I stopped, see if he needed help. Next thing I know, there's another neighbor that stopped,
Yeah,
and within
Mhm.
15 or 20 minutes, got him figured out and
Yeah.
back on the road. But you get that a lot here, where the population isn't as dense, and
Mhm.
you're not, or at least I'm not necessarily worried about somebody dragging me off.
Yeah.
But up there, like you will get help. Like
Yeah.
somebody will stop and help you. Somebody will get you where you need to go. Like it's just kind of a way of life when you get into, especially the colder parts of the country where it's easy to get stranded. But those are the kind of places you want to go and have your shit together. Like
Yeah.
make sure you've got enough gear that if you are stranded in the Walmart parking lot because there's 40 inches of snow in 3
Yeah.
days or whatever it was, I don't remember, but it was enough snow that they called in the National Guard to open the main road.
Yeah.
I found the place I was thinking of was Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. So I don't actually have a lot of time spent. I haven't spent a lot of time in Georgia actually.
Yeah.
No offense to our Alabama friends. There's quite a few of them. We've got, Rich is down there in Dothan. Where's Derek actually at?
He's north of that, somewhere
just
north
somewhere.
Alabama, because he's not far from Chattanooga.
Oh, he's way up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
he
SE
did that.
crew are there in
Oh, yeah.
Gadsden. But I always have like flashbacks to being like the first week of June being in Birmingham, which is like northern-ish. Getting a shower, was staying with a friend, getting a shower, was going to head out. And he's like, "Hey, let's walk down to breakfast." He lives in like downtown Birmingham. We walked like 2 blocks, and I was like, "What? Why do you even bother? Like,
Right.
look at this. I have to shower again before I get in a truck and drive 7 hours home." Like, it wasn't even like the hot months,
Right.
It was like
That's so true.
more power to you, but that is not for me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do well. That's not my thing. I
Yeah.
don't. Hence why I'm glad to be home from Florida.
Yeah.
95 degrees, no trees. What in the world am I doing here?
Humidity.
Oh, just
Yeah.
it was hot, hot,
Yeah.
hot. A lot of asphalt, hot.
So speaking of humidity, just came back from Oregon.
Oh,
Part of what I was doing out there, maybe by the time this podcast is live, will make sense. But that was something I'd checked the weather, and I was in Central, like, so it was going to be,
Yeah.
up in the 90s, like, man. And I was like, wait, what about the humidity? The highest we hit the entire time was 52%. And that week, so last week here in Bedford, Virginia, the lowest we were going to hit for any point during the day through the whole week was 52%.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was like 89 was our average or something for last week for the humidity.
Yeah, we definitely have plenty of that. Yeah, Liz and Laurel were just in Utah, Wyoming, and Oregon for the last 10 days. They just came home.
Yeah.
They were just outside of Mount Hood. Was that it? Mount Hood?
Yeah,
Not far
Sounds
from where
right,
you guys
sounds
were.
right.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think a rifle match in Utah, and then they
Yeah.
were over at Leopold for.
Oh, is that Leopold
or
up there?
six, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because I was in Redmond and we went down to Bend.
Sounds
But
like
I
a
actually
neat
came.
trip.
Yeah, I came through Mount Hood there.
Yeah, they have a bunch of pictures with like Mount Hood in the background.
Yeah, I will say now that part's really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
just and it's wild
We'll
because
save the West Coast talk for another day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they flew home out of Portland. I think
Oh.
the
so,
company's in Portland, and then they
Yeah.
have a range someplace.
the Mount Hood National Forest. I just had essentially a day, to put around and work on a little project that we got going on, and then get down.
Little project going to be announced soon, or maybe
Yeah,
will be announced by the time.
By the time this is live, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a full-on game of hide and seek,
Yep, nationwide.
nationwide hide and seek.
So, but yeah, that's really cool. I would like to get out there to do some more exploring. So,
Speaking of, if you're a friend of Brog and you live in the Michigan, Ohio area,
Give
No-
us a call.
Yeah, no, actually, it would be like Iowa.
Iowa area,
Yeah.
Iowa.
Holler
we
at me.
might be able to use your help,
And we'll hook you up. Like, let me think. If,
Yeah. There might be some
If you're in the Dakotas,
modest perks in there for you.
like far north, Colorado, the Dakotas, or Iowa.
Any of
So,
those would be handy.
Yeah, ping me on our Instagram, and we will make it worth your time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So hey guys, if we missed anything on the East Coast,
That's part of the nationwide hide and seek we haven't figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. As it turns out, all
If-
the people we know are not in those places.
if we missed anything on the East Coast, let us know in a comment down below, so that other people could see it.
Mhm.
And
But in the words of John Burt, don't blow up the spot. Like,
oh yeah,
I've got a few that I'll never mention.
don't ruin Horseshoe Bend. Don't ruin things like they did at
I'm
Horseshoe
sorry.
Bend.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm sorry. Horseshoe Bend was ruined
Oh
like 4 or 5 years ago.
it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, no coming back.
No,
Yes.
it
There's a
is.
welcome center now. Good luck.
Buses,
Yes.
you can't even effing park. We went to. It was like,
Yeah.
what in the world happened? Because
Yeah.
we were going there for.
Yeah.
You know,
Every
over the
Chinese
course
tour
of
bus,
10
there was like a
years.
dozen of them.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. And the guardrails were there. Like you can't even get close to the edge and fall off. It was really disappointing.
Yeah.
See, personal responsibility, man. That's
Gone.
the
Right?
extinction. Yeah.
I mean, I just Darwin had some shit figured out. I'm just saying.
But yeah, don't blow up the spot. But if you do have a place you want to share, or speaking in general terms,
Yeah, general broad terms.
Horseshoe
Well, I think
Bend.
that's all we got for today, guys.
yeah, we're out.
See ya.
You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Blue Ridge Bonfire. Shop our gear at BlueRidgeOverlandGear.com. Our sissies are as welcome as a nail in the tire. Get equipped, get organized. I'll see you there.